Hello my fellow pod pilots of New Eden, EddieRio here, and I just wanted to talk about how I make a living and PvP at the same time in faction warfare, in this game about internet spaceships that's very important, and in turn how you can do this as well. If you're new to the game or you just haven't dipped your toes in sort of solo small gang PvP, faction warfare is definitely the place to get started. You can also start off quite cheaply and start to bring in some good ISK very quickly in cheap ships as well. So let's have a look at what I'm going to take out in this video to show you is a Rifter, basic T1 frigate. I mean, you could pick whatever frigate you wanted from your base, perhaps have a little look at what people are flying, what ships you see on scan a lot. Pick one of those ships and skill into it, because it's going to be worth it. So I've got quite a tanky fit Rifter here that is going to do me for making some ISK, and I've also got my Scram here so that it is also a PvP ship, so it can do a little bit of both. If we have a look, it's less than 10 mil ISK as well, which, you know, that's cheap fun for EvE. The making of ISK through loyalty points is intertwined with the PvP as well, and although you can avoid PvP and just make loyalty points which you can turn into ISK, and I think a lot of people do farm this as well because you can make quite a lot of ISK doing this. It's done within the capture mechanics inside faction warfare. So if I open up the faction warfare map, we can have a little look and see that Minmatar are losing 48 to 22. That's pretty standard for Minmatar as it is, but we've got our different colour systems, who owns what this basically is, and we've got our ship casters that can take you to these places and where the sort of battles are happening as well, so you've got a little bit of information on this screen which is really useful. The whole sort of shtick of faction warfare is about capturing and defending the system through doing sites within that system. So I'm going to fly out into one of these systems and start capturing a point, and I'll talk to you more about the loyalty points and complexes that we're going to be getting the loyalty points in when I get there. So I've come to a fairly quiet system on the front line that is controlled by Amar. This means that I'm sort of attacking position, so I've got to shoot and kill anything that's within this complex, which is just frigs, because this is a scout complex and only frigs are allowed in here. Frigs and smaller, the bigger you go, so the small complexes, I think it's destroyers and smaller, the medium ones are cruisers, and the large ones are battleships. But I'll be honest, you won't find very many battleships in faction warfare. This is showing the system that I'm in at the moment. I've got 3 friendlies in the system, so I don't need to keep spamming scan because I'm not worried about them coming in and attacking me. But when an enemy jumps into the system, I'll have to use my directional scanner, keep spamming it, and if they come to the warp gate of my acceleration gate at the entranceway to this complex that I'm in, I could either choose to stay and then fight once they enter, or warp away. What I tend to do is approach the beacon and wait, because if something does come that I want to fight, I'm in a brawling ship, I'm going to want to be close as possible to them when they warp in. Another NPC spawned in on this plex, so all I've got to do is go up to him and kill him, and it will start the timer again. The great thing about these plexes that you've got to catch and the different sizes means that only Tech 1 frigs are going to be allowed in to this little scout pit, so I'm not going to have any cruisers jump in and try and have a go at me. While I'm in this site, only other frigates can come in and attack me. But this is defensive play at the moment. I'm not looking for a kill, I'm just looking to get some loyalty points to make a bit of ISK with. You could also, if you wanted to, collect the tags, which can be quite useful for using in the loyalty point store as well. So that's the site complete, and I got 15,000 loyalty points for doing that for 10 minutes work. So let's have a little look at what I could do with those loyalty points. Rather than using the loyalty points in the loyalty point store, some people will just buy the loyalty points direct off of you, and I think the going rate is about 800 ISK per loyalty point. So if we do 800 times 15,000, we would have made 12 million ISK then, just by selling it straight. That's already more ISK than the ship that we're flying in. Although it only takes 10 minutes to capture one of those small scout sites, you won't be able to do 6 in an hour, because there's going to be time to look for it. You might be getting attacked and have to move around systems, and I think achievably you could be looking at maybe 4 to 5 an hour. I would say probably 4 an hour, but if you were doing it in a system of your own faction, then it would be a lot easier because you don't have to shoot. Perhaps you could find a more out the way system, and although you get less loyalty points, it's kind of a little bit easier to do it in your own system. But I guess you're looking at around sort of 50-60 mil an hour for one character in a frig, T1 frig, which isn't bad, and you're also set up and ready to do a little bit of PvP as well, which we will talk about later. You can quite achievably do medium sites in a destroyer, and for those you can get upwards of sort of 35,000 loyalty points for a 15-minute complex. I think I've done sort of 3 of those in an hour before, which makes you around 100,000 loyalty points, which obviously if you just sell it at 800 ISK per loyalty point, that's sort of 80 million off the bat. But obviously you can make a lot more if you use that loyalty points to either make some blueprints or buy some stuff from the store and sell it yourself. But for the purposes of this video, we'll just stick with our scout site and look at how we can make some ISK from that. So to spend our loyalty points, all we have to do is go to the appropriate station and click on the loyalty point store up here, and it will show us a list of everything that we can buy. You can buy implants, blueprints, ammo, all sort, faction weapons, all sorts of different things that can be really useful, and also that you can sell on the market to make ISK. I'm not going to go into what the best things are to buy because I probably don't know, but it might be different in your region as well for what you could buy and produce or sell to maximize your ISK intake. That's something that you would have to research and look into. But for myself, what I tend to do is I like looking at the blueprints and what could I get for 15,000 loyalty points, which I just bought. So it's just shy of getting a faction cruiser, but I could get a Thrasher fleet issue. So for 3.5 million and my 12,000 loyalty points, I could get a Thrasher fleet issue. So let's look at the market and see what Thrasher fleet issues are going for. So they're being sold for 19 million ISK at the moment in this system, so that's not too bad. So let's show you what I would do. So I'd purchase this. So I'm back in HEC that I kind of use as my base, and if I go up here to the industry tab, I've got some Vigil fleet issues that I've been making. If I go over to my blueprints, I could find a Thrasher that I've just bought, and if I show info here, I can buy all the stuff that I need from this station with one click here. You could set up buy orders in the station that you use to make it cheaper as well, but I don't mind losing a little bit of ISK for the convenience. So it's only 2.5 mil for all of that, and then I can start the manufacture. So in 2 hours and 11 minutes I'll have a Thrasher fleet issue, which cost me, was it 12,000, 13,000 loyalty points, 3 million ISK, plus 2.5 million, 5.5 million in total ISK, and 12,000 loyalty points, which I don't think is too bad at all. And this is what I do to fund my PvP. I'll make lots of different ships. and if I need a bit of ISK for fitting the ships, I could sell a few of the ships once I've made them and use that ISK towards fitting the other ships. But it's a nice little circle. And talking about PvP, let's show you an obligatory PvP fight that took place in one of those complexes against an Imperial Navy slicer, and using that same Rifter fit that I was using to get the loyalty points in a different site. This time I'm in a Minmatar owned system, so I'm just sort of semi-AFK at the moment, cruising around this and listening to a podcast at the time, I think, and noticed on my scan that a slicer was coming in and it was a fight that I wanted to take, so rather than warping out I could just hang around and take the fight. And this is what it's about, you know, don't be shy, give those fights a go. You've got, I think it was someone said, think of your ships as ammo rather than the ammo being ammo, because you're going to lose ships and get used to losing ships, but enjoy the moment of having fights. Don't worry about your kill board and looking at all that afterwards. It's best to enjoy playing the game rather than enjoying your kill board, and take those fights and see what happens. You never know, you might come out on top. The only way you're going to get better is by keep trying. And as I've just showed you, you can make ISK while you're trying at the same time, which is just a great combination for anyone wanting to learn PvP in this game. And you don't have to do it on your own like I do. You can join a corp within the game, or look at the militia channel and fleet up with some people and have a go at small gang PvP as well. Well, I hope this video has encouraged you to give it a try. If it has, give it a like and a subscribe please, that makes a lot of difference. And I will catch you in the next one. Fly safe.